Alright, Leia, I gotta get you out of here. As much as you're a cutie pie. Say goodbye. Goodbye. So, hello, welcome back to River and Hearted Ink and Friends. My name is Claymore. You can call me Clay. And today I'm doing a bit of a year in review / what I want to change for my goals for next year. If you watched my video last year, I made a bunch of really big goals, and I was really enthusiastic about it, and I made like a whole thing for the entire year. I made plans for each month, what I was going to achieve, what I wanted to do. If you couldn't tell from my lack of being on social media, none of that happened. In fact, I think the only goal that I may have achieved was getting my YouTube off the ground, and that is mostly thanks to Baldur's Gate 3 coming out, and I had a lot of fun with that. As far as art goes, I did not do much at all. Unfortunately, I really had high hopes and big plans. It just didn't work out, unfortunately. I'm really going to try and hold myself to a higher standard than that for this year, but I had a lot of things going on. I had a lot of change that I was going through and experiencing, and it just didn't go well, unfortunately. I would say probably my biggest thing that I really failed at was keeping myself accountable and posting regularly. I really completely fell off of social media. I got kind of devastated by a lot of the political stuff going on over the past year, and it just really made me scared to go on social media. I really felt uncomfortable and unsafe, and I wanted to post stuff because I wanted other people who felt unsafe to feel like there was somewhere to be online that they could be and not have to think about the world and not have to think about what's going on, because it was everywhere, constant. And it still is, and it's still difficult for me sometimes to be on social media because I feel so overwhelmed by that stuff. But I really want to post stuff that is enlightening and something that makes you feel good and is a bit of a distraction from the world. While, yes, world events are very important and we should be aware of the things that are going on, I think there's a healthy dose of being able to get away from it, because if you are so overwhelmed by doom and gloom, you can't have the energy to put forward yourself and what you want for the world, because you are shut down. And so I think there's a need for getting away from that stuff. Anyways, with all that aside, I wanted to talk about the things that I did do over this past year that I'm really happy about and really excited about. I got a new job right in the middle of January, early January, so just about hit a year there, which is kind of a big deal for me as a person with ADHD who really struggles to get along with a lot of personalities that are in retail. I'm really happy that I've been able to find a group of people that I really get along with well. I made some really great friends. I found more people within my community of non-binary trans, and it really helped me to blossom in that way and push myself towards being more me, and I really appreciate that. I definitely felt kind of alone because I wasn't interacting with anyone directly in my community. I did a lot of events this year, went to a lot more things throughout each month, and that's one of the things that I really wanted in my life that I just never have been able to achieve because I've never had regular income in my life, and I've never been in a state where I can do all of that. So that was really exciting. I did a lot of social stuff this year, and that's part of the reason that I just did not make a lot of art, unfortunately. And then at the very end of the year, right around August, Baldur's Gate 3 came out. I did a bunch of playthrough stuff of that. It's still not quite done, but I am nearing the end of Baldur's Gate, so the last of that playthrough will probably be posted somewhere here within the next couple of months. And then I might start up another playthrough. I'm not sure if I want to keep playthroughs constant on my channel yet, or if I just want to do them occasionally, because I want to have both art and video game stuff on here. I just think that's very me, and that's very much my brand. There's a lot of things that have inspired me throughout the years that I really love in the video game community, but there's also a lot of toxic and uncomfortable aspects of the gaming community that I want to push up against, and put out content that I feel makes me feel safe and makes me feel happy and like I can go into my own world. Because that's what role-playing is all about. Anyways, role-playing and fantasy, I should say. But anyways, I still wanted to show you guys what I did make this year. As small as it might be, I think it's really important to still count your successes and still look into them and see what you've learned each year, especially when it comes to art. I think sometimes we may not see a lot of progression, or we may see things as regression in our art, but they are not regression. It's just that may be the way it looks because we've taken on certain styles, or we enjoy different forms of art, or we're trying out something new. And so it may look like we're doing worse than in our past, but it's just a change in interest. And I noticed that a lot in the past couple of years, because right around 2020, when I first moved into this apartment, my art style was much more Instagram pretty girl sort of stuff that I did, because that's what was popular and that's what was everywhere. And so I did that stuff as well, and I kind of re-honed my skill in watercolors through that. And I think that that was a big pushing point in my art. And then after that, I was like, I don't want to make Instagram girl art. It's like not fun for me, and I don't enjoy it. And I want to make fun, creepy illustrations, and I want to make comics, and I want to work on stuff that makes me happy, that I can do effectively, make it well done, and still do it in a good time constraint, because a lot of that pretty Instagram girl art tends to take a lot of time and energy, and if I don't have to be so perfect, I think that my art I can produce more of my art, and it comes out in a way that I still enjoy. Anyways, so probably one of the first things I made within the last year, my only canvas art piece that I made within the last year, is this piece, which I may not be able to show on YouTube. I'm not really sure. It doesn't actually have nudity or gore in it. It's just, it appears that way. So if you are bothered by fantasy plant gore, you can skip ahead. Don't worry about it. But I just wanted to show you guys. So this was one of the art pieces I kind of worked on sporadically. I would say it's mostly finished. I don't know that I like 100% feel finished on it, but that's kind of how a lot of bigger art pieces are in general. Some pieces fell off of it, so I've kind of been going back and forth on whether I want to add more to it or leave it as it is. It was a lot of my thought process on why I felt the way that I did about my body, and why I had such bad self-esteem. It was very focused in on that feeling of hating girlhood and hating being considered a woman, hating being in a feminine body. There was a lot of aspects about living like that for so long that I felt so uncomfortable with, like so bashed on and so hated for the way that my body was, for the way that my gender was perceived, for a lot of people's notions and ideas of what I was versus what I was. And so, anyways, a lot of that energy and emotion went into this piece, and it makes me very happy to look at it. I know that it seems very dark and sad, but it brought me a lot of joy and release to be able to create something like this. The rest of my art that I made this year has all been in sketchbooks, so I'm probably going to be changing angles every once in a while. I'm going to keep this recording and then I'll cut in the little pieces, but I'm going to go through them and then I'll show you. So, I have two different kinds of sketchbooks. I have a smaller sketchbook that I keep on me pretty much at all times for whenever I feel like drawing something, sketching something, doodling, and a lot of the time I like to keep it kind of like half a journal, half a sketchbook. So this one has gotten quite fat, as you can tell, from me adding pieces and pages and all sorts of little things. This is the cover I ended up designing. I've been in love with creepy crawly vines, teeth, stuff like that for a really long time, but I just haven't really incorporated it much until this year. So anyways, that's kind of what this is about, and then obviously I have my Wyvern-hearted little logo. They, them is the neopronouns that I chose for myself when I first came out. But I just haven't really used them because they, them is a lot easier, and a lot more people understand and recognize that. So I've kind of fallen to the wayside of that, but my friends got me a sticker because they care about me and they want to acknowledge me in that way. So anyways, the first page is one of my favorite art pieces from the year before. In 2022, I made this little strawberry chocolate Wyvern-hearted box. I don't know why, I think I was just feeling very inspired by Valentine's Day, but so I ended up making this sort of plush background with this in the foreground, and the little eye I added because I love putting eyes on everything. I don't know, it's just fun. But that was from 2022. But I've used this journal until pretty recently. I think I finished it maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I used this journal for about 2 years. And the first year I only spent, let's see, about this much in it. Normally at the end of every year, I just kind of run out of steam for doing art and making stuff. So unfortunately, I just didn't end up using a lot of this in the year 2022. Most of it is 2023, which is the stuff I'm going to be showcasing. But also I wanted to showcase some of the stickers that I've collected over the past year, because I believe all of them have been from this year, or this past year, 2023. I got some little different stickers from all over the place. Some are pride stickers, some are more mental health. This one's just because I thought it was so cool, and I love bats, and I love the big puffy collars. I want to own a couple of my own. I'm probably going to be making some in the near future. But after that, I also collected a couple more in the back here. More Pride stickers, more just fun little silly stickers that I enjoyed. And then early 2023, I think this was like March, February, somewhere in there, I made this little comic. I was designing the weird creature that's following Aniva into the spirit world. On a separate page, I kind of sketched out the design and concept of him, because I wanted to use the audio from... There were like a lot of popular audios on TikTok and Instagram that I wanted to use, and this was one of them. And I felt like it made a lot of sense for Aniva and her hatred towards being half demon. So anyways, I made this weird little blossom creature. This is kind of based off of... There's a video game. I'm gonna have to go look it up because I don't remember what video game it is, and it was recorded by Gav Smulders, her little playthrough of it. But I just thought the design of these like alien creatures being very floral was very interesting, so it's inspired by that. I love undead and like doll creatures, like dolls that have life. I feel like that really connects to my inner child and like kind of the way that I view myself. And so I made this little Victorian child that I was imagining I would end up playing at some point in D&D. It was just sort of a random character design that I came up with that felt very me. I worked on some background ideas and concepts for Aniva, or Illovivia, not Aniva. Illovivia is the mother of Aniva, so there were just some designs and concepts on what her background was, where she came from, what sort of clothes she wore, what happened to her that caused her to look the way that she currently does, that sort of stuff. I did some... After I made the spirit design with the face that's a bloom, I ended up trying to design some more spirit concepts. So these are just a couple. The one's like a cloud with an eye that's crying blood, and another is like a bunch of dog heads that are all connected. This one is based on a boss in Divinity 2. I don't remember what he was called, but I feel like it was... I don't remember. But he was a wolf that was taken over by a demon, and then eventually took over like a whole pack of wolves, and they all sort of culminated into this one creature. And I thought the design was really cool, and the concept of that was really interesting. Here on this page I have collected a bunch of different coffee labels from different coffees that I tried throughout 2022 into 2023. Just things that I really enjoyed, different flavors that I really loved, that I wanted to make sure that I remembered. And then this one is another sound from TikTok that I heard a lot, that I ended up turning into a comic for my new comic that I'm currently still working on, which is Crestfallen, which is the backstory of Aniva's grandmother. So anyways, that's related to this. And then my mom. So my mom's an art major, and throughout her art major, she got to go and travel to Europe to go see a bunch of art there. And she had a bunch of photographs from when she went, and she was just gonna throw a lot of them away, and they were like pictures of art pieces that she went and saw. And so I was like, no, don't throw them away, I will use them for something. So I cut them up and put them in this page. I just thought they were fun, and I like collaging. It's very soothing. Snappy's Snack Shack was a little restaurant that Raz and I went to when we went on vacation. It was right within our campground, and so I just kept it for the memories. As we were kind of over our entire time at the campground that we went and vacationed at, I worked on little memes based around my characters. I thought that'd be like a fun concept to eventually make into merch, or just to have as like little reactions for things. So I used the Elmo meme for Aniva gaining her powers, and then I had the monkey puppet meme for for Ilsiet before she became Ilsiet. I also did the Dark Side Kermit meme with Aniva, and I did the I'm Fine meme with Aniva. Those were very fun. Very simple, very silly. I also started work on this. I never finished it. I don't think I'm ever going to come back to it. So it was a barbarian concept of a barbarian woman with a hippopotamus jaw as her like collar. I really liked the concept, but it was so tedious, and I didn't I didn't want to work on it. This is another sound from TikTok. This is Contortionist by Melanie Martinez. That was super popular right like around spring, early summer. And I ended up making a comic about Ilsiet and her transformation to it. I thought it was very fun. Seek Slumber is one of my favorite ESO characters that I play a lot. She's an Argonian... I can't remember right now the rogue class. She's like a shadow healer, basically. I love playing her all the time, so... Anyways, I wanted to draw her little character. Then I have another spirit that I ended up designing. He's kind of based on bleeding hearts. If you've ever seen little bleeding heart plants, their blossoms look like little hearts, and then they open when they blossom, and a little drop comes out. And anyways, I thought that was really cool. I saw someone make a plushie that was a bleeding heart plant, and like it had 3 little heads on it, and it was like a little man body as the plushie, and I thought that was so interesting, so I ended up designing a spirit based around that concept. Skitters is a character I designed for an RPG that me and my friends played. Unfortunately, it's the RPG is called Cyber Metal, and unfortunately, the creator did not make enough reference for us to play beyond the first little introduction piece where all of our characters got together and we like kind of sought out this space to go hang out together. After that point, we really didn't have anything else to do because there weren't any like health bars for creatures, monsters, anything like that. There weren't any abilities for monsters. There wasn't anything to tell us about how combat should work. So we kind of just stopped playing, but I really loved my character concept. She's an irradiated spider that turned into a humanoid, and so she's got spider aspects to her still. And she was a worshiper, So I made her a worshiper of the Tooth Fairy. This has been a concept I've wanted to use in D&D as a warlock. I've always wanted to be a warlock of the Tooth Fairy because I think that's so funny and creepy in like such an interesting way. So I'm probably going to eventually make a version of her in D&D, but I absolutely loved her and I loved designing her little character. Oh, okay. This is a two-page spread of a character that I had made up in my brain, but I just never put on paper. She's the parent of another character I drew at the beginning of the year, who is not in this. I'm not sure where she is. She might be in my other sketchbook. But she's a orc lich, and so I wanted to create some ideas of how she would have looked and what was going on with her, because she is just so creepy and interesting, and I love all the little creepy details, and that's so much fun to me. So anyways, that's her. Okay, here is the character that I drew earlier that year. And then I glued her in here because I drew them originally on lined paper. So I glued them in here. And I started lining them with with pen. But the pen doesn't go very well over Mod Podge, unfortunately, so I kind of gave up about a quarter of the way through. But I still think the concept is really interesting, and I would love to play them in some sort of D&D-esque sort of thing. Again, I use the jawbone collar concept in this one as well. And then I did some headshots of the majority of the main characters from my comic. I just realized that I had never put all of them together in a page to like kind of compare and contrast their character concepts and make sure that they're identifiable from one another. I think if I had colored this, it would add even more to the diversity and like how much you can tell each character is a little different. But I just wanted to draw that out to both compare and like make sure that there's enough difference that they're very identifiable from one another, but also to make sure that characters who are related look like they're related. So it was an interesting concept. Then I made some concept pieces for some pride stickers that I wanted to design. I never actually made them on my tablet. I totally can now because about like 30% of the year I just didn't use my tablet, even though I wanted to because I bought it. Just didn't end up using it, unfortunately, until the last couple of months. But I will probably eventually at least make this one with the Morningstar, because I think this one's really cool. I was coming up with some other concepts, but I just don't feel like they're as strong as this one. And then I also came up with pronoun pins. But again, I don't know how well they'd sell. I like this one a lot, and I like this one. I don't know about the rest. Maybe this one if I fully developed it. It was kind of based off of those biohazard, like, signs that you'd see up in people's... on people's walls from, like, the early 2000s. I remember using them constantly in my Sims games because I just thought they were so cool. And I totally love the idea of my room being an irradiated space, and so you can't come in there. I was a nerd. This is a mix of doodles. I had some more stickers. Doodles by my friends. This was a fortune cookie that I got. It says, "You have at your command the wisdom of the ages." And I have a business card from an artist I found when we were at Pride this year. And this is one of the parking citation sticky notes that I gave my husband that was all crumpled up. So I thought I'd use it for something. Oh, and this is a tag from a little toy that my friend got me because I told them that I used to collect dragons as a little kid. I love dragons. I was obsessed with dragons when I was little, and I had a big collection of them. And I stopped collecting them, I think, around the time that I was like 10, 11. I kind of had a harsh shift in my brain from being a kid to feeling like I was a teen all of a sudden. And I kind of felt like I wasn't allowed to have those fantasy, childish spaces anymore in my brain. And so I got rid of my collection. And I was really sad about it as an adult because I'm like, I loved those things. Those things made me so genuinely happy, and I'm sad that they're gone. And I'm sad that I prioritized money over prioritizing the things that I loved in my life. So my friend bought me a new little dragon. I will probably show him at some point, but I named him Spork, and I kept his little tag. And you've probably seen, if you go on my social media, you've probably seen that I went to the Curiosities and Oddities Expo over the summer in Detroit, and I bought a couple t-shirts and some prints. Some of the prints are hanging behind me. And this was one of the tags that came on one of the shirts I bought, and I just thought it was very fun and cool. So I added it to my sketchbook. This is another character from Cyber Metal that I made that I thought would be fun. This is like basically Undead Cyborg sort of character. And then this is the final character that I made for Cyber Metal that was a demon. And I had a lot of fun with her design, making her hair like a little scorpion stinger. I don't know. I really had a lot of fun with this, and I used... What did I use? I used oil pastels. Yeah, I used oil pastels to color the majority of this, which is a medium I've never used, so that's always fun. And then in the fall, or maybe it was late summer, yeah, it was in August, we went to the Paranormal Cirque, which came through a lot of Michigan, honestly, but came right through Ann Arbor, so me and my husband ended up going. We got free tickets because my work is very close to where they had the Paranormal Cirque, so they gave out free tickets. So I have that in here. I have some more Wyvern-Hearted concepts that I was trying to come up with. I was trying to draw it exclusively on the tablet, and I just found that I couldn't get the right grit or interest to the image when I was just drawing on the tablet, so I was coming up with concepts on paper. Obviously, I went to the Ren Fair. I went to the Ren Fair 2 times. I almost went a 3rd time. But I kept one of my tickets at least. This was just... I had a bunch of extra paint and I didn't know what to do with it, so I just painted an ombre sort of thing. And then I have a little sink from Cyber Metal for my character Skitterbrain. I have another random character concept. Oh, and then I have my drag queens that I drew for Pride Month. This is my absolute favorite. I want to make the other ones more interesting and add to them, but this is my favorite concept, especially with the rainbow sword saying slay on it and going into a little demon skull. It's my favorite concept out of all of them. I think I put all of my oomph. As I've found, I tend to put all my oomph into the first concept, and then I kind of just fall out of it after that, and I just don't like anything else that I make. So making a series is really difficult for me. But anyways, I really love her concept, and I do eventually want to make her into like stickers or prints or something. But she's just wild and fun, and I had too much fun making her. And this is one of the other concepts I made. She's a fairy drag queen, and she's got a unicorn horn, and she's got she's not a fairy concept. She's technically a unicorn concept, and then she has butterflies all around her because she's a unicorn. And then I have a witch drag queen concept that I had a lot of fun with the match and the green skin. I just felt like it was very camp for a drag queen to be like this specific with their witch concept. So anyways, that's this design. I think she's my second favorite. I really don't like the unicorn one. I think it's pretty. It's just not as fun. And I don't know why. And then I get into some concept art for a character for the game I'm developing. It's gonna be a tabletop RPG, but I do eventually want to turn it into a video game. It's just I don't have a lot of knowledge on how to like make a video game outside of the art aspect of it. So I want to eventually collab and turn it into a video game with someone. But it's an apocalyptic fantasy RPG, and it's very horror based, and it's based around the Riders of the Apocalypse, the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and it's based around these cults that follow each of the apocalyptic horsemen. So anyways, she's a character concept that I came up with that I really enjoyed. I was trying to come up with some different enemy ideas for the game. I really didn't like much of them. I was kind of just using different monster concepts that I'd seen and kind of just redrawing them. Another little character concept doodle that I just never finished. This is the design that I was going for my outfit for Run Fair. I wanted to do like a jester concept. I did do the makeup, and I did almost finish the corset. I didn't quite finish the corset. I made the shorts with my friend. I do eventually want to make all of the pieces and actually wear this to Run Fair. I just didn't happen to be able to do it this year. And then on this side, I have some, I think this is from, yeah, this is from the Oddities and Curiosities Expo. They had this instead of a business card, which I thought was cool, and it tells about like different events that they were going to be at this year on the back of it. This is from a wedding I went to. This was just like one of the favors, and I thought it was really cute. It was a really cute concept, so I wanted to keep it somewhere and not just throw it away. And then I have my top 5 fictional foods at the top. This is because of The Watcher, and they did their top 5 fictional foods. So I wanted to make my own list. Me and Raz did against each other. So my top picks are ambrosia, eat me cookies, fire flowers, sleeping tree sap, and fairy berries. These are some drawings of Bee from Beavanian. She's, or I should say they have like a lot of cool gothic modeling photos that they've done, and I just thought a lot of them were very fun, very aesthetic, very gender for me personally, so I ended up drawing them a couple times. And then here's another one of my Ren Fair tickets. Here's me hanging out with my new friends and some stickers I got from one of the comic books I bought recently. It had a little sticker sheet in it, which, come on guys, come on, that's so cool. Another zombie character I designed that I never finished. As you can tell, this is my shit book, not my like nice proper sketchbook. This is a bunch of Minotaur research I did for an episode that I still haven't finished editing, that hopefully I will post soon. This is a scene that I ended up drawing from my book that I'm writing, my novel. I was working on this novel throughout NaNoWriMo, and the concept in my brain was so strong that I really wanted to illustrate it, so this is me partially illustrating the concept and idea. There are a bunch of different Drawtobers or Inktobers that I wanted to do. I ended up trying a little bit, and then I gave up after like the third concept because I was like, I can't focus on doing this anymore. I hate following other people's ideas. The one design I fell in love with was this one. Absolute favorite. The Mask of Cursed Fates. I thought it was so pretty and fun, and I'm obsessed with jesters and clowns and that sort of aesthetic, so I had a lot of fun with this. And then... oh yeah, I was making some different, like, lich and god concepts for my fantasy realm, so I was trying to come up with new designs and things like that. Another comic concept that I never finished. Another character concept I never finished. Some more doodles from my friend at work. Well, we were at work, I mean. He loves to doodle on all the little notes and stuff, so I end up keeping them because I think they're funny. This is a monster concept that I was working on. I only finished it recently, and like, obviously I haven't colored it or anything, but I think it's very interesting. I think it would work for the apocalyptic game I'm working on. This was supposed to be also for the novel, but there were so many details, I kind of just gave up. I couldn't focus on it anymore. And then I have some entries about wanting to make a zine, what I wanted to make a zine about. I've seen a lot of people make zines online, and I think they're just very interesting little concepts, and I think they're very fun. I think that's one of my goals for this upcoming year, what I want to work on are some zines, because they're kind of handmade and interesting, and they have a lot of character. So, anyways, I started working on this one, which is about point of view and eyes, and I think it'll be very fun. And then I have some more character concepts. This is for Pathfinder. This is a fetchling, that's what they're called. They're like people that fell into the Shadow Realms and then just kind of survived there for a long time. And so they were kind of transformed from their experience of being there. I have a fetchling, I have a Gorin. Most of the concepts that I've seen of Gorins online are just very human, and I didn't get that at all. Like, I didn't get that impression at all from reading the description of Gorins. It talks about their face being a flower that sometimes reflects a human expression or look, and I really felt like most of the concept art that I've seen out there is of literally just a person with, like, petal patterns on their faces. They don't actually look like their face is a flower. So I made my Goron literally have a flower for a head. Talking about more zine ideas. This is my little work sketch, and this is my friend's work sketch. And then here's a bunch of little doodles he made of himself and all my cats. And then just a cute little clown cat. Me. And I have been obsessed with the chocolate oranges over Christmas and just wintertime in general. So delicious. Probably my favorite thing now. And then at the very last page, I wrote some goals for myself that I want to accomplish this next year. Mainly publishing Hardcast Blood the first book, because I've been needing to republish it forever, and I just haven't been doing it because I've been putting it off and not reworking everything to fit. So my main issue every time when I do this, when I work on my comic, is that I can't get the page sizes right. So when I send them to the printer, they're like, this is incorrect. You have to pay another $50 and re-enter what size page you want this to be. And I don't know why it's so screwed up in my brain and I can't figure out the sizing, but for whatever reason, it just never works out for some reason. So anyways, I'm going to get that done this year. And I wanted to release some new comic prints from my other sketchbook that I haven't shown you yet, that I worked on over this past year. So this is my other sketchbook. I haven't worked very much in it, but I did start designing a cover concept. Obviously, I've only worked through this much of it, so I still have a lot to go over the next year. A lot of space to grow. I have one of the crestfallen pages that I was working on at work when it was slow. I have a character that I'm making for Candela Obscura because I love Eldritch stuff. It's me. Despite the fact that I've barely worked in this book, I started it January 13th of 2023. And I made this little intro cover page, which is very similar to the cover of my other sketchbook. Mainly, what I worked on this year was these two Willow comics of just two different scenes that I felt were iconic from Willow. Willow is one of my favorite childhood movies that I watched and watched and watched over and over and over again. I absolutely adored this movie. And I just don't feel like I made these because of the love that I have for Willow, but also because the new Willow series was coming out right around this time. Unfortunately, I just don't feel like it lived up to the original Willow at all, and I'm sad that they're pulling the plug, but I'm also understanding it because, unfortunately, whoever they hired to write the new Willow series just doesn't understand how real everything felt in the original Willow, and they kind of just cheapened it by mainly making it CGI, and not great CGI. So, anyways, this is my nostalgia. This is the other scene that I did. I did two of the more iconic scenes that I remember and love from the original movie. I did the scene of him doing the pig trick, and I did the scene of the brownies and the fairy queen stealing away the baby. There's some of my favorite scenes from the movie originally, and I want to eventually make more because there's a couple of really great scenes. And I debated in my head over so many different scenes that I wanted to do. So I'm sure I will eventually cover all the ones that I want to. It's just, they take a lot of effort, and as much as they're very fun, they're very exhausting. I also worked on some big comic spreads of one of my favorite games. I did a specific quest within that game. This is one of the Mages Guild quests in Oblivion. Oblivion is probably my favorite Elder Scrolls game. There's just so much from it that's very iconic and very fun. There's a lot of silliness on top of darkness, and so I think it has a really great balance, and I really haven't felt that in a game since. So it has a really big spot in my heart. But this is one of the sillier quests that you can be given if you decide to join the Mages Guild. If you want to eventually be part of the Mages Guild in the Imperial City, you have to get recommendations from all the different Mages Guilds throughout each other town in the game. And so this is specifically the one in Bruma, where all the leaders, not all the leaders, all the mages within this guild are irritated at the leader because the leader got her space not by being intelligent or being very skilled, but by being charismatic. And so she's kind of buttered her way up to the top of this Mages Guild. And so they're bullying and pranking her. And your task is to just find one of the characters that's gone missing. Find one of the mages who's literally just playing a prank on their leader and invisible, wandering around. After that, I created the main cover that I want to use for Crestfallen. I did it all physically. I will eventually make it a digital copy. But I think, especially when I'm doing cover art, that I like to do the full thing physical first, because there's just something about it that has more character to me than doing it digitally. I did buy some new brushes for Clip Studio so that I can try out adding more character in that way, but I haven't gotten the hang of it yet. So this is my main design. And then I have a concept for the back cover, but I have not finished it yet. I will eventually get it as pretty as the other one, but that's where it is at currently. And then I made another comic strip to one of the popular sounds on Instagram between Ilsiet and her god and the transformation that she experiences. And then I have a little about me thing that I made for inside of my book, so that you can understand a little bit more about me as a person and who I am, what I like, what I don't. I have a bunch more comics that I want to work on, to different sounds, to different things that I care about. We just haven't gotten there yet. This is also another concept that I did for what I wanted to wear to Ren Fair. And what sort of makeup I wanted to do mainly was what I was focused on. Here's some concepts of different gods that I was working on for within my fantasy realm. And then I started working on a character sheet for my character in Baldur's Gate, Dagmarine. And I think that is all. Yeah, I made a little bit of a video game concept for the novel that I was writing, but I didn't finish it, so not much to see there, unfortunately. Anyways, that's what I've accomplished this year. That's what I've done. I'm sure this video is going to be a bit long and a bit long-winded because I had a lot to explain. A year is a long time. I think I've grown a lot within this year, and I really feel like I better understand what my constraints are as a person and what I'm able to accomplish. And so I'm going to focus more on doing the things that I feel are the most important and get me the most out of it, out of what I'm doing. So I hope that you will join me on 2024 and seeing what I can accomplish and manage within this next year. I still want to keep up with doing fun things outside of my house and still having a social life, but I want to accomplish more as far as writing my books, working on art, that sort of stuff. So my first goal for this month is to publish Hardcast Blood as the start of my year. That's what I want to do. After that, I'm probably going to focus in on finishing Crestfallen and working on my novel. I do eventually want to figure out whether I'd rather have the novel just be exclusively a novel or I want to make it a light novel, where I add some pictures in there here and there, just because I do feel like I'm a very visual writer, and as an artist I want to add imagery to that. So anyways, I will be posting a lot more, hopefully here soon, or at least regularly. I have been posting regularly because I have Baldur's Gate that I've been putting out, but outside of that, I really haven't been posting much content. So here's to the new year and hopefully making our goals achievable. Until next time, I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope that your 2024 is gonna go better than last year as well. I know a lot of people really hated 2023. There was a lot politically with wars going on and everything else that 2023 was a bummer for a lot of people, and I understand. So I hope you're in a much safer space today, and I hope that I offered you a little bit of space away from that. Outside of that, I will see you guys next time.